Hello and welcome to Tête à Tête, France 24's flagship interview show. Our guest is Massad Boulos. He's the Trump administration's senior advisor for Africa. He also serves as a senior advisor to the president on Arab and Middle Eastern affairs, and he joins us from Washington. Thank you very much, Mr. Boulos, for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
On June 27th, the DRC and Rwanda signed the peace agreement in Washington. DRC President Felix Tshisekedi said he hopes this will open a new era of stability in this war-torn region. You know very well that there have been numerous agreements over the year. Why do you think this one will work out better?
Yes, this is a very good point, actually. It's a historic agreement. This is, as we all know, this is a conflict that has lasted for more than 3 decades. And people have been suffering. More than 6 million have lost their lives, and we have millions of internally displaced and refugees, probably 8 million or more, and hundreds of thousands of refugees. So it's from a humanitarian aspect, this has been a disaster, really, and people have suffered for very long. So it's about time to end this conflict. It's about time for the people of the Congo and the people of the region and the Great Lakes region generally to prosper. It's their right to prosper, and they deserve it. Now, with regards to previous agreements, yes, there may have been some previous agreements to some extent on certain aspects of the conflict, but there was never a comprehensive agreement like this particular one. And those previous agreements may have been signed by various, let's say, varying levels of officials, some at the intelligence level and so on and so forth. But there was never a comprehensive agreement like the one we have today, signed by both countries, and it went into effect last week on the 27th of June. This will be followed by a signing ceremony at the White House, which President Trump will witness, and both Presidents Tshisekedi and Kagame will sign on behalf of their countries. It's a broad agreement and much more comprehensive. It includes also a very important economic element to it. The two parties have agreed to establish a joint regional economic integration framework, and this is one of its kind, and this is the first time they go into such an agreement. In addition, this accord as well, this peace accord, provides for a mechanism of implementation, which is also new. In addition to many other details and agreements, some others will be bilateral in nature between the two countries, and some bilateral with the United States. So there are many additional angles to this agreement that were not there in the past. And finally, I would say there's the US element. We helped mediate and we helped broker this agreement, and we strongly believe that it should be a long-term agreement, just as President Trump said on Friday, and he is expecting both parties to implement it. Of course, the agreement in itself is very important, but the implementation stage is much more important. And we will be working very closely with both parties. And I must add that this effort and this initiative is complementary to the existing initiatives, whether they are regional in nature, such as EAC and SADC, or continentals, which is the African Union, that has played a very, very important role. In addition to that, we also have the support of Qatar, who has played a crucial role with regards to the internal dialogue between the DRC government and the M23 armed group. And this is also another angle that is part of the peace accord, which may not have been there in the past. So there are quite a few aspects that are different and that are complementary to whatever was done in the past.
Mr. Boulos, as you said, the implementation will be key. Already we see two diverging interpretations. There are two key elements on the security level: the neutralization of the Democratic Forces for the Liberation of Rwanda militia, the FDLR, by the DRC army, and a withdrawal of Rwandan troops from DRC. But the Rwandans are already saying, first FDLR neutralization, then we withdraw. The DRC say, no, this has to be done at the same time. What is the US view on this key element? It should be done one after the other or together?
Yes, absolutely. And this has been the main contention point probably for a long time, including the various initiatives in the past. Those things should go hand in hand, and both parties have agreed to establish a joint security mechanism. And this is a very important and integral part of this agreement. So for the first time, they have established a joint security mechanism under which all of these things will be jointly agreed upon and coordinated by the two parties. So the neutralization of the FDLR is extremely important, as well as the lifting of defensive measures by Rwanda. So they go hand in hand. They should be done simultaneously in a manner that both parties are comfortable with. We're here to facilitate. The African Union is here to also coordinate and facilitate, and so is the state of Qatar. But there are also other international players that will help and will assist. We now know as well that France will be organizing a conference in Paris sometime in September to address the humanitarian aspect and probably some other aspects, including economic and others. So there will be oversight, help, assistance, monitoring, and follow-up, close follow-up, I would say, from all of these actors.
Mr. Boulos, on the issue of the M23 rebel group, which is backed by Rwanda, the latest UN experts report says that Rwanda is clearly behind. It is not addressed in this agreement. It should be addressed in the mediation by Qatar. But you met with the leaders from the region. Did you get a commitment from Rwandan President Paul Kagame to rein in the M23, which occupies the eastern Congo and has been doing so for the last several months?
Yes, President Kagame has expressed his full commitment to this peace accord. He has expressed his full support to reach an end, a peaceful end to this conflict. And
on the M23 specifically?
Specifically on the M23 and specifically on the Doha track. As you may know, the Doha talks have been ongoing now for several weeks. And as we speak, they're getting ready for another round. This round, we hope may be successfully concluded. We hope this to be the last and final round. The two parties, meaning the M23 and the DRC government, have reached, under the Qatar facilitation, they have reached a final draft of an agreement that should hopefully be fine-tuned during this upcoming meeting, which may take place this week. And it will be, the representation this time will be elevated to much more senior officials from all concerned parties. We will be participating. We have been also participating in previous sessions. We will be participating in this one, and we have the full support of Rwanda and President Kagame to ensure the success of these talks.
What about the mineral deal between the US and DRC and Rwanda? There are lots of concern in the DRC that this would mean the US would gain privileged access, would steal the goods from the DRC soil. It has not been signed yet. Will it be signed? Will it be secret? Can you tell us whether the US will indeed get its hands on the DRC riches?
Well, I wouldn't use these expressions. I would use the U.S. companies will be investing in the DRC, And as we all know, U.S. companies are very good corporate citizens. They are long-term. These are long-term investments in nature. These companies will fully abide by their host countries' laws, rules, and regulations, including regulations regarding child labor, protection of the environment, taxation, and all other rules and regulations. Let's not also forget that these American companies are bound by and must abide by U.S. Laws and U.S. rules and regulations with regards to corruption, taxation, child labor, environment, and so on. These talks are ongoing. We have ongoing negotiations between the two governments, but also between the DRC and several members of the private sector, U.S. companies and other companies from allied countries are, as we speak, negotiating with the DRC and with Rwanda. By the way, there are quite a few American companies that are interested in investing in Rwanda. And this is where this regional economic integration framework comes handy, whereby some companies will be investing in both the Eastern DRC and Rwanda. Rwanda, there will be some considerable investments with regards to the midstream and downstream aspect. So the processing of some of these minerals will be done in Rwanda, but these deals will be signed at the White House along with the other agreements. So they are not private or secretive in any way. Those will be announced very soon, but definitely as soon as they are signed, they will be made public. So there are two fronts, the mining aspect and the infrastructural aspect.
Massad Boulos, that's all we have time for. I want to thank you very much for being our guest here on Tête à Tête, and thank you all for watching it. Stay tuned for more news.